if you could go back in time, you could either vote for Donald Trump or Kamala Harris. Who would you rather vote for?
I'm gonna say Trump.
Okay. And why is that?
First topic, I would say his immigration and border policy.
Okay. What about it?
Well, one of the main benefits I would say was the required asylum seekers to wait in Mexico while the immigration cases are processed. That's one of the big things. You
So
got people doing you got
what's that?
people doing it the right way, and don't get me wrong, the system is a little bit faulted. It does need work, but that is one thing that I can say definitely needs to be followed. What it does benefit is it does reduce fraudulent asylum claims, and I know we can both agree on that.
Can you give me a source that it reduces fraudulent asylum claims?
I can't give you an exact source, but it is a proven benefit, and it also helps prevent mass.
I think that would be pretty important. Secondly, I would
Well,
disagree with the idea that remain in Mexico would be a good policy for asylum, because what you're saying is that, one, people who have legitimate asylum claims should not be allowed to stay in the country while their asylum claim is being processed, right? And two, that specifically in terms of the asylum claim, you're not actually providing an incentive to like actually invest in making the asylum process go quicker, which is another part of the asylum process that we want to fix. And then three, for people who are seeking asylum from Mexico, where would they stay?
like I said, I would. My personal belief is they remain in Mexico until their asylum claim has been
So
processed.
they should remain in
And
the country
another
that they're
thing is
seeking.
because it
Wait,
helps.
hold up. So they should remain in the country that they're seeking asylum from.
Yeah.
That's incoherent. That gets rid of the whole idea of the asylum process. You're saying people with legitimate asylum claims should have to stay in the country in which they specifically are seeking asylum from, right? While the court claim is being processed, which you aren't even creating an incentive to make the court process go quicker. You weren't
I'm
investing that
not.
through the Biden,
I'm
through
saying.
the
I'm
Trump
saying that.
administration.
I'm saying that it does need work. It does need a faster process, but they would need to stay in the country of their origin while they're claiming that asylum, and it needs to be
That's
sped
just
up. It
not
does.
true. That's just not true, right? International law
And
does not
another thing.
indicate that you have to do that.
Another thing. I'm saying what the benefits are. It helps prevent mass catch and release, and what else it does is it discourages illegal border crossings.
No, I think the best way specifically is to incentivize people to go through the legal process by making the legal process significantly quicker.
Fair enough.
That's the best way to address it. Instead of militarizing ICE, how about we put money into investing into our courts to make the legal process go significantly quicker, to then incentivize people to go through said legal process?
Okay, and then so what would be your first steps to doing that?
What would be my first steps for trying to make the legal process go quicker? Like hiring
Yeah.
immigration judges?
Okay, so what's going to be the criteria that they have to meet?
Well, I mean, I think that people going through the context of health screening, right, and criminal background check, right, should be allowed in the country if they get
Okay,
through
so
that.
I'm gonna tell you this. With the remain in Mexico policy specifically, it has restored order to the asylum process, and it has reduced pressure on the U.S. border facilities, and that's a proven fact.
Wait, restate that one more time?
Okay, so the remain in Mexico policy, right? It has restored order to the asylum process, and it has reduced the pressure on the U.S. border facilities because
Would you like
they're not having to take in all these people
would you no would
and
you
keep
like to
them there.
would you like to provide a source that specifically the remain in Mexico border policy specifically did that? And
Well, you
asylum
can
again
Google
is a
it.
legal process. No, I would like you to
You,
provide a source for your own claim.
you can Google it.
Google's a search engine, not a source.
Well, you can Google it, and it is a benefit, and it is a fact
How about you look it up? Why don't you do that yourself?
because I already have.
Okay, then you should do it and tell me the source, and I'll look it up once you tell me the title. It's your claim.
I'm just trying to be respectful of time. I'm not going to go all the way back and look through my
Well, I mean,
archives and see the other
I can
sources.
talk to someone while you do so.
And then also, I mean, this is all going to be based on
I
the
think it's
same.
less respectful to the time by saying that I should have to do it while I'm running the stream. I think it would be more respectful of the
I'm
time
giving you. I'm
specifically to
giving
go
you
look it
specific.
up and then to come back with the research while I talk to someone else.
I'm giving you specific talking points, and you don't want to hear
You're
them
not giving me
because you know
any
that they're right.
evidence. No, you're saying that the Remain in Mexico policy did certain things. I'm asking you for evidence of that, and you can't provide anything.
Okay, and how about the Title 42 expulsions?
How about you, instead of changing the
Kind of in the
topic,
same
address
category.
the original claim?
It's in the same category. I'm giving
I
you. I'm giving you specific bulletin points without the fluffer.
You mean without the evidence?
without the fluffer.
You mean you're
That's the
you're
truth.
making claims without evidence?
This is the issue, is that you don't want to hear the truth.
I do. I'm asking you for evidence right now. You don't want to hear the truth because you're not able to look up the evidence.
I gave you the evidence. It's
No, you
can
didn't.
look
That's not
you,
evidence. That's a claim.
Parker. You've had these conversations, so you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Oh, provide the evidence then.
Come on, man. You know exactly what I'm talking about.
No, I'm not. No, I'm waiting.
You
Provide the
do.
evidence.
See, this is the issue with the people on the left, is that the
That we
Republican
ask for
Party is
evidence. We
continue-
ask for sources.
No, because
This
I'm
is the
giving you
issue with the
specific-
people on the left. They're critical
I'm cutting
thinkers.
out I'm cutting out to the average American citizen, right? That this isn't their job. They want to hear the facts. They want to hear it clear and concise.
Yep, and
right?
you're not providing the facts.
That is clear and concise. Reduced fraudulent asylum claims.
Okay,
Help
what's your
prevent
source?
Mass cuts and release.
What's your source for the
Discourage
fact that it
illegal border
reduced?
crossings.
Wait,
How is
wait.
that
What's
not precise?
what's your source
How
for
is that
that
not precise,
specifically? The
Parker?
remaining Mexico border policy reduced fraudulent asylum claims.
It has.
Source.
It has. You know that. You know that it has, Parker.
What's
Come
your,
on.
what's your source?
Does it matter the source if it's right?
No, it matters the source, and if it's right, you can find a source to prove it, right? Probably.
It is right. It is right. It has restored order to the asylum process.
I found
And-
your
and
source.
so-
I found it.
So you're gonna sit here and say that it has not reduced pressure on the U.S. border facilities.
I don't think remaining Mexico, the border policy specifically, has done that, and I don't think that even if it did, that it would be a good policy. I still think it would lead to worse conditions. So until you can provide a source, there's no justification for the claim that it reduces fraudulent asylum claims. This is just a claim.
It's not a claim; it's a fact.
It is.
And
It's a claim.
And the American people voted the way that they did because of these facts. Because it's not a bunch of people just trying to run the word game with them.
No.
It's
If you
giving-
actually,
it's
if you want to
giving
look
them
at,
points.
if you want to look at exit polls,
Giving them
right?
points.
If you want to look at exit polls, it is the case that the number one reason for why people voted for Donald Trump was because of the economy, and that they attributed inflation to the incumbent president without good reason. So because of a lack of critical thought, people voted for Donald Trump because they thought that he was going to be better for inflation, when he literally ran on increasing inflation through the context of tariffs. Like, I'm serious. Like, any level of critical thought of listening to economists would have indicated that you shouldn't have supported Donald Trump, the person advocating for inflation, to reduce and mitigate inflation.
Wait, say that one more time.
Yeah. Again, okay, what did you hear from what I said?
I'm asking you if you can repeat that.
Okay. Trump literally ran on increasing inflation through the context of tariffs, right? And
Okay.
people voted for him. Number one reason in exit polling was that they attributed inflation to the incumbent president under Biden, which it was global inflation under Biden, not caused by Biden. And Trump literally ran on increasing inflation through the use of tariffs.
So we're pivoting from immigration policy to inflation.
You brought up why people voted for Donald Trump, and I
Because
told
of-
you that the
because
main
this is
reason why
American-
people voted for Donald Trump
I'll let
was
you
because
speak.
they did not critically think.
You see, this is a problem though, Parker, and I'm going to be genuine with you. Is that a lot of people? This is not their job, right? Policies,
It doesn't
government
need to be.
entities. I know, but listen, can I speak? Can I finish what I'm saying?
Go ahead.
Okay, so if we're talking about the average American citizen, right, that works a 60-hour week, because now a 60-hour week is basically what you need to survive. So they don't have the time to look up all these policies. They don't have the time to properly vet every single thing that the government is doing. So they want somebody to come across and just give it to them without all the extra. You know what I mean? And a lot of people are resonating with Donald Trump because they feel like that he does that for them, right?
But he's
And that's a
lying
problem.
to
And I'm
you,
saying-
and that's the issue. When you do that and you don't critically analyze things, people manipulate you. You have to be able to critically analyze what people are telling you. Otherwise, you will be manipulated. That's what I'm telling you. He's not out to benefit the country. He's not out to benefit you. He's actively advocating to take away tax money, specifically in terms of tax cuts for millionaires and billionaires, right? And then he was going to replace that with taxes that are going to harm low and middle income individuals to a greater percentage, disproportionately.
Shouldn't that be everyone's goal, is to make more money, right? Is to be rich, right? And whatever they're good at, right? That should be your goal, is to be the best at what you do.
This
perform
reduces
at the
social
highest
mobility.
standard.
This reduces social
Perform
mobility.
at the highest standard so you can live that lifestyle. It's all effort and what you and the product of
Just
what you
pull
put into
yourself up by your bootstraps. You know, just be rich. Just do it. Just be rich. You know what I mean? Like, all you have to do is think it, and it just
Parker,
happens.
this is-
Just
this is
be
the reason-
rich.
This is the reason why the left doesn't resonate with so many people, is because you guys continue to
What are you talking
isolate.
about? No, this is
Because
why the
look-
left
look-
does resonate with people, because
Okay, are you
I'm
gonna let
willing
me
to
finish
I'm
my
willing to
statement?
I'm willing to say
Are you
that
going to
people,
let me finish my statement, Parker?
Yes, I will after this. I'm willing to say that people need access to
After
healthcare
I
in this
interrupt
country,
you, okay.
and they do not get access to healthcare in this country under our current system. Under our current system, 45 to 68,000 American lives lost every single year due to lack of health insurance, right? And it is the case that we can impose systems specifically to help people in need. We're willing to accept the reality of what the conditions of our system is going to be for the average person overall. We're not just going to say people can just, based upon their own merits overall across the board, just be able to provide every single thing for themselves.
can you slow
Because
down
within
just a
in
little
the
bit?
context of us, because think about it,
Can you
within the
slow down
context.
just a little bit here?
Yes, because think about it. Within the context of a society, there are certain things that we want to provide for everyone as a baseline,
Right, correct.
like we do specifically with K through 12 education, right?
Correct.
So I'm just saying we want to extend that baseline, and that we're not saying that there's no impact in terms of people's own personal decisions. We're just saying that based upon someone's personal decisions, they shouldn't starve to death. Based on someone's personal decisions, they shouldn't specifically not be able to afford their medical bills. Based on someone's
Hold on,
personal decisions, they shouldn't
can I
be
ask
in a
you one thing,
position
though?
where they can't afford childcare for their children.
Right. Okay. So as far as personal decisions, like, are we talking about, like, provide some context to that specifically? Because there are some personal decisions that people make that are very, very bad for society. Let's not shy away from that.
The point I'm saying is, regardless of your personal decisions, you should be fed.
Okay. I agree. I agree with
Okay.
that.
Regardless of your personal decisions, you deserve to get access to health care.
See, this is kind of where the water gets a little bit murky, is because there are some really, really bad people out there that do some really, really bad things.
I'm not talking about bad people. We're saying regardless of what you do in term, like, financially speaking, right?
Financially speaking, okay.
Financially
okay. I hear
speaking,
you.
regardless of what you do, right? You should specifically still be able to feed yourself and your children. You should be able to have access to health care and health insurance.
But
And if
isn't
you
that
did
what-
truly care about the people doing very bad things, then you wouldn't elect that guy into the Oval Office held civilly liable of pardon violent rioters who police officers after he incited a violent insurrection at the Capitol.
Okay, so you're talking about Gene Carroll situation with the, right? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, Trump was held civilly liable of Eugene Carroll.
Okay, but that's a civil. That's civil. That's not criminal.
So
That was a civil case. That wasn't a criminal case.
I understand. What's your point with that?
My point being is that those are two different. Those are two different things.
Do
Drastically
you
different.
accept criminal cases?
Do I accept criminal cases?
Like, do you accept
Well,
the
it just
conclusions
depends.
from?
Okay, it depends, because our judicial system is not perfect. It's faulted
Okay,
as well.
then our judicial system must be faulty when designating anyone as an undocumented immigrant. So how could you deport anyone? I think
No,
our
I'm not
judicial
saying
system
that.
is so faulty,
I'm saying
right?
that there are different places in the United States that their systems work better than other places in different states.
Wait, but if
And
our
especially
judicial
when you're using that- when
if
you're
our
using that
judicial
as a
system is so,
weapon,
sorry.
but when people are using that as a weapon, and let's not say that doesn't happen, because it does. It really does. And this is why a lot of the American people are coming to this realization, is that, you know what, there's bad things going on both sides, right? But when you're gonna really put it out there and say, you know what, we're gonna charge him in this place because we know we can get away with it there. People see that, and it's not a good look for America in a whole. It's not.
No, it's that he actually did these things, and then he's trying to create this narrative of they're just going after him in terms of a political campaign against him. No, that's not how it works. That would be true about every political candidate, basically throughout the context of history. So explain to me why all these same cases were not applied to any of those candidates throughout the context of history. Please get a grip on reality. You can't just say that it's just political. They're just coming after him because of politics. Because again, that would have happened throughout the context of history.
Why can't you
Right?
talk
You would have
like
evidence to
fully
indicate this to be
respectable in a
true. And again,
conversation,
if the
Parker?
judicial system let me please finish. If the judicial system was so faulty, then you wouldn't accept any of the cases against undocumented immigrants, indicating that they're in the country undocumented.
See, this is another issue, is that you can't fully talk respectfully in a conversation with people. You want to belittle people, get a
What
grip
did I
on
do to
reality.
belittle it?
It's like I'm trying to
What?
have a conversation with you and trying to bring both of our realities to the middle. But you want to get a grip on reality and like make these little snarky
All I'm
shots, and
saying
it's
that
like,
all I'm saying there
no,
is
no,
like
can I
acquaint
finish what I'm
yourself with the
saying? 'Cause
facts.
I've let you finish every talking point you've said.
No,
And
you didn't. You just
continue
cut
to
me off
interrupt what I'm
multiple
saying
times. What are you talking about?
in the middle of me trying to finish my statement.
Yeah, I was in the middle of my statement.
I
You
have
cut
to
me off.
interrupt you to
It's
finish
fine.
my statement.
Wait, what do you mean to finish
You
your
know?
statement? I let you finish and then I spoke.
You just
'Cause I
interrupted
caught
me.
myself and I wrote it down and then I let you
Okay.
speak.
Moving on. Like I said, this is a really big problem in America right now, because you have. I mean, I'm not saying this to be like rude to you or anything, but people like you, which you're coming off always rude to people and belittling people, especially when they don't know exact policies. And it's like I'm trying to explain to you, is that the average American citizen does not have the time to sit here and run through all these policies. It would be great if they did. That would be great, right? But the thing is that there's been so much in all these policies that a person that doesn't have that much time is not going to be able to go through that and not going to be able to read that. So and this is my advice for the left. If you want to resonate with voters, you need to make that stuff in a condensed version that's more palatable for the American citizen, right? Because what they do with this whole runaround in these huge, long pages of let's see, for lack of a better term, things that people don't understand, they're not going to even want to look that way.
So you're just telling them to dumb it down.
For lack of a better term, yeah.
Okay. So let's go through this.
It needs to be palatable for everybody, right?
Okay. Okay. So we need to make it more simple. Okay. I'll make it very, very simple for you. Donald Trump is actually an incredibly rude person. If you cared about people being rude, and if you thought that moved people away from the movement, people being rude, then you wouldn't support a guy that had a nickname for every single person that he ran up against to literally insult them.
Okay, so listen.
Okay, like, I mean, did that dissuade you from supporting him?
Let me continue to explain that, okay? Like, we all know when it comes to politics, there's going to be sharp shots on each side, right? People are going to say, "Oh, you're this." People are going to say, "Oh, you're that." It's human nature. No one's perfect. No one is able to be that perfect being, right? That's just not possible. But the thing is what I'm saying, and it was proven by the voters that they resonate more with Donald Trump because he's actually able to dumb it down, make it a little simpler for the average person to understand. And that is why, if the left does not change their direction on that, they're going to lose every election coming up. And that is the truth.
In the most respectful way possible, he's not dumbing it down. He's just dumb himself. And
So
how
you're
come
calling the rest of the American people dumb because they resonated more with him
No,
than
no,
they did
you're
with
the you're the one saying that we need to dumb it
That's what
down
you're
for the
saying.
American people. That's what you're saying.
Yes,
You're saying
that
that,
is- that
actually
is- that
you were
does
the
need to
one saying
happen.
that the American people are dumb. Now I think the
Okay,
American
but you
people
wanna
are
use the
ill.
term-
I
like
think
I
the
said-
American.
I
Let me
said
please
that
finish.
for a
Can I
lack
please
of a
finish?
better term.
Can I please finish?
Yeah, you can. Go ahead.
I think the American people are ill-informed and they're misinformed, and they have decided to believe people like Donald Trump because of the culture that we've created to then incentivize people to not critically think about politics. And I think that's an incredibly harmful thing. And again, essentially the point I was pointing to was, how come I didn't get the
Because-
grace that you just gave to Donald Trump? When I
I'm
specifically
giving you the
You
grace.
didn't though. You didn't though.
I'm
Like
not a
when
perfect
when we
person,
brought up
Parker.
that Donald Trump has an insult for every single person that he runs up against, you were like, okay, no one's perfect. It is the case that everyone does this in politics. But when it was me, you brought up this huge issue about how I'm too rude and how I'm not going to bring people over to my side because of this, and that I need to be more palatable for the average citizen. So how come that same condition did not apply to Donald Trump when he's significantly more rude than I am?
I don't agree with that.
You think that Donald Trump is less rude than I am? You think he's more polite than I
Just
am?
off of your mannerisms right now, I can tell you that.
What? That is ridiculous, bro.
Yeah,
That is
look how
actually
you're.
ridiculous.
You see, look, example, Parker.
What? What's the example?
I am talking to you in a respectful manner the whole time. I'm not making these little condescending face. Well, you can't see my face, but I'm not making condescending faces. I'm not making these
How
little
am I making
condescending
wait, my facial expressions, how are they condescending?
because like the way that you do with your little talking points, right? You'll say something and then you'll do this little look on your face, and it's like you're trying to belittle somebody, and you are, and maybe it's just because as you grow older, you might grow away from that, which I believe you will, but
Well, I just want
those
to
type
know
of
I
things,
have a
those
facial response to things that I think are absurd. And if I have a facial response to it, my facial response is my legitimate facial response. Right? You might think that I have all these intentions behind, oh, I'm doing this facial response in a certain way. I'm not acting, bro. I can't do that for what, 4 hours a day, bro? How could I don't think that's possible for me. I'm not like that. I'm not like an actor, right? I never went to acting classes. I never did any of that. I literally am just on here debating with my positions. I don't
so that's just who
I
you are as
literally
a
do that
person.
because that's who I am. Literally, like when
Okay,
I
I
get
understand.
into
I
these types of
understand.
debates, that's just how I am.
You're just saying that's who you are as a person, right?
Yeah, like my facial responses are literally like. Also, I think that's an aspect of how I communicate with the chat. Like that's just literally how I naturally respond.
But Parker, let me say this, man. And I'm just trying to give you some constructive criticism here. And if you disagree with it, you disagree with it. That's fine. But you do come off like that. And when you're trying to have a conversation and meet somebody in the middle and meet some common ground, I don't necessarily think that that is the best approach. And that's my personal belief. But if you don't agree with that, that's fine.
I get
I'm
it,
just trying to I'm just
and
trying
I
to tell
actually
you.
I do agree in most circumstances it's probably not the best approach. I think in some circumstances it's warranted. I could have
Right.
gone a little bit too far. I don't even think I went
I'm
really
just
far
I'm
in this
just saying
conversation.
Parker
Like
is
what
like
I did was like interrupt. That's probably what I did most, and I could point to
right.
that. That's about it. Like I would
I
really
would
say
I
I
would
like
just say
went
this,
overboard with.
Parker. I can understand like you debate a lot of people every day, right?
Hmm.
And obviously you have to have your guard up and you have set these measures in place to have your rebuttals, and obviously you get people that are kind of being a you, so you got to kind of respond to that. I understand, but what I'm saying is that, like I said, it like for me, I haven't been that person to you. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just saying that for a person like you got to kind of read the room, right? So like our conversation, I've been keeping it respectful and positive, and I'm just saying like sometimes you got to be able to turn the wheel sometimes, you know. But I
I
will
think
just
I
say thank
do.
you,
I think I do. I think I know how to
Parker.
read the room. I think I know how to, give similar energy to like what I'm getting in the conversation. I think I'm pretty
yeah.
good at
So
that. And one thing I would say in general is that like I can always take into account what everyone's saying in the context of live, but also I just want to just genuinely say this as a real thing. I am engaging with people on the right every single day. There are multiple people that come off of my live who are debating me that change their minds practically every single day. I do see in real time what works with people in terms of what they specifically believe in to a rate in which practically no one does because they don't do the same job that I do. Right? It's just primarily because this is the job that I do and I spend so much time doing it. So I do understand, like I understand that not every single thing I do is perfectly palatable for everybody. It's impossible
right.
for me to meet that standard. Right? I can do as much as I can within that context, but it's impossible. And sure, right? I could try to, not be as upfront and specifically like I guess with me being aggressive in this conversation, right? In terms of like trying to fact check or anything like that. And I can try to bring down the energy with this conversation. But in general, like to doing that to a certain extent is also important for communication with the fact that certain views are absurd. And even if we're having a polite conversation about it, that still can justify a response, and which isn't just me being right like 100% and totally polite. Like I have to acknowledge right an absurd position. All right, when I said get a grip on reality, I just mean like, dude, what you're saying is so absurd and it's not acquainted with the facts that you just need to actually get a grip on like things in terms of reality because you need evidence to back up your belief systems. You can't just believe things without any reason.